I need to combine with the other maps. WD util main start map args main map. I think I need to make a new map here. So it's a tree map. Map equals new tree map. And we're going to call combine on this for ourselves. And then we're going to pass in this map. Alright, so we start up WD dash main, no main class found to run. If we go to our debug configurations for this, we should be able to say dash server as the first argument, and it starts up our dash server. Alright, excellent. So that's working properly. So let's make sure those are all added to our version control. And let's get the build system set up for him. So I've got a whole bunch of stuff here. Dash services. Alright, I'm missing... How did I have this set up before? I gotta go look at... I've got the dependencies. I need these build sub-projects to do stuff. So like our Java util here, build... Yeah, I need to set up my build process here. So that's gonna be kind of... And build systems are always a real giant pain in the ass. So we're going to grab everything inside of this lib stuff. Is that what we're actually using? Do we have any libs that are... No, we don't have anything in the new lib folder that's necessary. Alright, so export my dependencies. So we need... Alright, so we need export dependencies is going to call export source and export libs. Export dependencies. We're going to need our project directory and all this stuff. So I think this was the format that I had. What is it? WD dash WD Java util? Yeah. Alright, so we created dash services bin files, but none of these things exist. God, it's been forever since I messed with this crap. Alright, so it's going to do clean build. So I need to get this Alright, so we're supposed to grab our stuff from WD Java util and WD services and all that. So I think I need to call this build subproject build subprojects, build project, build subprojects should call export dependencies for build. So I think it's we need to call build, or is it build subprojects? Export dependencies for build. Export my dependencies. As always, build system stuff can be really goddamn confusing, as it is right now. I guess I just need to call build on the child project. Alright, so I think it's export dependencies, probably. Alright, so what do we got? We created the directory, dependency source, copied everything into it. Alright, so we snagged the library files. We snagged all the source files, it looks like. And then we tried to build. Oh, I guess this main file is not what we want. We want wd-main. And this is something we only have to do once. Once we get it actually set up properly, it's just done forever, so that's kind of why I'm like, crap, where's all this garbage? Alright, so we're supposed to call create runnables. What is build going to do? Let's see, build is... Alright, so we're supposed to put everything that's inside of the dependency source directory, all the Java files are going to be put in there. Exclude star.java. Alright, so we export source. Exporting source files for Java util. Create a directory, dash services, dep source out, copied all the files into dep source out. Exporting lib files for Java util. Copied everything from created the directory, copied the files to the directory, and then we're supposed to do it. So we need to actually compile in all the source files. This is kind of boring build crap. Copy to the binary directory everything except the Java stuff. So we'll take all the embedded files and we'll grab those. But we need our class path needs to actually have I guess our class path needs stuff on it. I'm having to get all this ant stuff back into my brain. So where do we actually call build? We have create runnables. And that's our jar. So we call clean build and then we call create runnables. So where is build? Alright, target, build project, build subprojects, build project. Yeah, sorry, Synachron. Yes, it's Java. I'm putting together some server stuff. And of course, the first thing I'm doing is setting up the build system for it, which is just trash. It's just, I'm having to remember all this crap that I've forgotten over the course of a year. Alright, so build project. Aha. I believe I'm not including the source directory here. There we go. Should go straight to JavaScript. Yeah. Skipping zip to archive because no files were included. Sorted it. It failed inside of runnables. Outjar. Alright, so created the directory, skipping zip archive because no files were included. Side-scrolling platformer doesn't really need server. Well, if we're gonna have any sort of multiplayer stuff going on, we're gonna need a backend for stuff, and so that's kind of the idea. Is we'll have some stuff like that, perhaps. So we're supposed to zip up the binary directory. Because we've got everything in here, it's all compiled out. And then we do the build, runnables, but nothing's getting in there, so let's just make sure this Jenkins build still works after I added stuff to it. And I'm kind of also just working on this stuff because I've been working on graphics and random crap for a while, so I'm kind of giving my mind a little bit of a break from materials. Alright, so the other build is working properly, so there's something we got messed up with this guy. So we're compiling all the source files. That's fine. So creating directory. Yeah, so the issue here is that I'm not zipping up the proper file sets here for these things. So that's why it's going to be all pissy. Probably co-op. I don't know. We'll see exactly what we can do, but if we're going to do any like high score stuff, we need somewhere to save data. You know, we'd put stuff there. If we're going to collect telemetry, we want a place to do that. Or if we want to collect some crash reports or whatever, it'd be nice to have a place we can put it. And sure, we could go buy some services and do that, but I'm a server engineer. You know, I'm a pilot. I fly a plane. You know, I might as well do some of that. And I can also get it for super cheap. Like, it costed out, it's like $50 a month, $60 a month for us to do all this stuff ourselves. If I get it written out, so why not? More than one bitey. I don't think we're gonna do like real-time multiplayer between two people. Like, that seems pretty far stretched. Also, I don't think it really fits into the game design. But so we're not like setting up a whole bunch of instance servers or some crap like that. But you know, I would think other things might be a possibility. So setting up our build process here is super important because that's what we're going to be able to run things with, and it looks like it may be good to go. So we've got our runnable file here. And what is our main that we want to run? Dash server. Alright, so we got that, and let's test out a different main. Let's test out logger. Awesome, so our logging system is working properly and all that fun stuff. 2-player co-op? I don't know, that's a lot of freaking work. Like, they'd have to build all the levels to have 2 people, and then like, for me and Adam to actually like test a game like that would just be absolute nightmare fuel. So, unless we have like a much larger budget than the $0 that we have for this game, don't expect any of that. Alright, so we've got our build stuff. It looks like we got that set up properly. Let's make sure we got it all checked in as well. Alright, so now let's set up our Jenkins build to actually mess with this. So I don't think I've got any super secret stuff going on here, so I'll just throw it up. I need to make a new item. So what are we going to call this? Master Dashkin Java server. build Java tools, master build number of keyboards. Let's call build Java services .bat. So that was inside of the project scripts build Java. Project scripts build Java tools. I need to make sure this doesn't have any secret trash inside of itself. So 1 second. It doesn't look like there's anything secret in here. So this is build Java services is a bat file we're going to need here. Alright, so we're going to call build.bat, which I don't know what's in there. I need to look. Yeah, it's just this. I need a build services.bat needs to be a file. What's it going to be? WD dash services. So that'll call that on that, and build Java services is going to need to and what is that? Alright, so we'll call update Java tools. No, we don't need to update our Java tools. We just need to call publish build on that. We'll do our build, and this needs to be build services. .bat. And if anybody's wondering, this is like if you're doing real engineering and you're setting up a build process for something, like you gotta deal with this crap at some point where you're running batch files or shell scripts or something in order to build and archive stuff. Like this is gonna call our build script to actually build our thing, and then this is gonna publish it. And I've got this like publish artifact and all these other things which stages builds and puts them on like a share drive and backs crap up, and you know, like it's real boring stuff. But let me see if I've got something I can even show. Yeah, so like I've got this share drive here that I can actually throw stuff on, and we have builds of the game that go back. You know, we have the branch, we have a nightly build going back, you know, for 20 revisions and stuff like that, and I can actually like go into it and, you know, see when it was built and actually go grab it. So like I've got, you know, builds from every night from the last month and stuff like that, and that's kind of how you're supposed to set up your build environments and stuff if you're like super pro like I am. It does take time, and it pays off though. Like once you get it set up, you just like forget about it, and then you have nightly builds, and then like stuff works. And all right, so we're gonna got a branch, build number, revision, build services, publish artifact. That's gonna call build services, which will call this, which will call Aunt Jacob's build on it, which should work just fine. So we should be able to check all this garbage in. Alright, so I've now kicked off my build for all that, and it's going to have to sync down the whole perforce a repo in order to actually build that stuff, so it's going to take a while. So I think our builds are set up there, so I'll know the answer if I screwed up all that in, you know, like an hour, and it'll tell me all that stuff. But I believe we're good to go there, so this guy will just be kicking around. And these two builds failed last night, but that's not a problem. I already fixed it. I had committed a thing that blew up in Adam's face. So it also blew up in my build machine's face. Anyway, I need some caffeine. Alright, so what sort of systems am I going to need to build? Like, I've got my server architecture stuff going on. I'm going to need a list of systems I need to make. I'm thinking for you right now. Awesome. I'll keep cranking away. So I need to figure out, I just need to let that do its thing. I need to figure out which systems I need to make. I need a list of things to build for this. Alright, so I'm gonna need it's gonna be a lot of stuff. Alright, so we're going to need the relay server, we're going to need a relay client, we're going to need our configuration system. Gosh, I'm going to need like my local credentials for accessing AWS and S3 as a result. We're going to need our deployment system. We're going to need a server running system on Linux. We're going to need the actual, we're going to need a test server stack up and running, and health and monitoring systems. So we're going to want our, alright, so what order do we need things? Well, I mean, the first and foremost stuff is we need our configs and we need our credentials. I think those are the two systems that we need to get set up first. So we need to have like our AWS credentials that we can read, and then that we can go access files on S3 and all that sort of stuff. So let me just pop up all my secrets. Surprised there are no secrets. Alright, so I'm gonna need a bucket in S3 to actually put all this garbage, is what it sounds like. Do I even have an account for my official? AWS stuff here. Yeah, I do not have a user that's actually configured at all for any of this access, so I need a new user. So I'm going to make a ksexton develop dev machine user, and this is going to be programmatic access only. I'm going to attach policies directly to this user. I'm just going to give myself full admin access to everything on AWS. And I'm going to need to pop open my password safe. And add a credential. Alright, so yeah, 3.hype, that's true. So how do I want to deal with credentials locally? I mean, I could just have a file on my machine which I read from. Let's be super stupid. Let's be super dumb. Let's do exactly what nobody should ever do, ever. Sorry, I'm just dealing with some credentials right now, so I'm just kind of focusing on not showing those on Twitch. Sorry about that. Why not use AWS credential default? I think you can set up the AWS client. I'm a bit rusty. Yeah, that's what we'll use when we're out on our servers, but we need to be able to run our servers locally on this machine. And I'm going to be accessing stuff on S3 and all that sort of crap, so I need to be able to set up things like that. So I'm just getting that set up. So what I'm going to do is I've got a file basically that only I can access. I'm putting it on a share drive that's under my stuff, and I'm going to be accessing that properties file. And, you know, whatever, it's my local workstation. If I was somewhere else, if I was at Amazon or some other company, this is not the best way to do it. You'd probably want to have some secure system where you're using like Kerberos to log in and get stuff from some other thing. Like what we did is we saved tokens locally on somebody's machine. They'd have to log into a website and they would get like a token that would then allow them access and identify them. But, you know, I'm running in a basement on a home network. I don't have a whole fucking, you know, LDAP system set up down here. It's just kind of not what is necessary. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have a local file that I actually read. So it's going to be startup.json. So this is going to be I'll just have a thing here. I'm just going to check this in because I'm the only developer. Alright, so we're going to need like a config system here. Do I have anything that already has like config set up? No. I don't have a config system. What? I gotta build all that bullshit. Well, son of a bitch. Got a lot of other things, but I don't have a config system. So, okay, I'm gonna need a config system. And I'm gonna need to read stuff off of S3. Alright. Let's actually just make a new folder here. Let's do services. Let's have config. And how am I going to set up my config? I don't need to do a whole bunch of garbage here. It doesn't need to be super ridiculous. So I'm just going to have like a basic system here. So it's going to go... So what should our file structure for our configs look like? I think it's just going to be our context, and then it's just going to be JSON files. So we're not going to do anything too insane here. It's just going to have like a context and then the actual value. So I'll just have master here. So I'll use like kind of branches, or actually why don't we just do... This will work fine. And the files won't matter, so let's just do config.json. And let's see, what should our config stuff look like? Are we going to support arrays? I don't think so. I think I'll just support string values. So something like this will be like our config file thing, and I'll just like slap all these things together so I can then access the values based on string stuff. Alright, I need a new user for my S3 stuff here. So I can make a new bucket, and let's call this WD services Dashkin. And then let's make a folder. Let's call it config. And then we're gonna have master. And we're gonna mirror this file system out here. So that's how we'll access our configs when we're out on EC2. Is we'll basically use S3 like that. And we should Alright, so we're basically going to have our config stuff set up. So I'll have our config and our credential config. And let's see, root folder. For this thing. So this thing is going to be running out of this directory, so it's 1, 2, 3 up. And then services config. And let's put context master. Alright, and the config system is going to have its own thing, so we're going to have to write that. So let's just start making it. And I'll be right back. So I need a config system here. It's going to, there's a couple of requirements. I want this config to hot reload. So we should have some config stuff actually be smart and useful, right? Alright, so we're going to have the config system be an actual like whole thing here. It's been a while since I did any Java crap. This is ridiculous. So our config system is actually going to start up and then it'll run and do its stuff. Alright, so this is our config system. This is the constructor. So I'll call to start up this thing. Call to shut this down. So basically the config system is going to need to actually like snag a whole bunch of information. We're going to need a thread that's sitting there doing its thing. It's going to need to be able to be accessed in a multi-threaded fashion. All that. And we're going to have two different loaders for the config. So it's going to be like it's going to be two different things. There's going to be like a WD-S3 config loader and